Hey guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. I know this is annoying. Why do I have a mic in my hand? Well, first of all, I'm filming in a park. You've heard of the German stare, so you know what the situation looks like. So let's not dwell too much on it. As long as you can hear what I'm saying, because I think I'm going to be speaking sense. I'm speaking more sense than you've seen on social media lately. So that should give me a pass. But before we even get into the subject matter, hello, are you subscribed? Have you turned on your post notifications? And can you explain to me, comment right now, tell me why you don't actually interact with my videos by commenting, by liking, subscribing, sharing with a million of your friends. I don't get that. You don't actually need to post, just copy the link and or pretend to share so YouTube thinks more people are interested. You can do that, right? Corruption is everywhere. Why can it not work for me? Let's make sure we're doing that. And now I'm going to get into the subject matter. So if you're a person who has social media, TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, you've seen a lot from our enlightened women, those who can tell us everything that feminism did wrong and why we should listen to them. And I have a few things to say about that. Now, in order to create a video that makes sense, that's in an order that I could follow, I don't have the greatest attention span. I had to ask myself if what these women are doing is new. And I came to the conclusion that nothing that's being done is particularly new or exciting. I grew up with the same thing, and I love to call these kinds of women Ruwadzano and Co. Because in Zimbabwe we have Ruwadzano, and this is a meeting, usually a religious meeting by women where they talk about women's issues, and a lot of them have to do with men. It's a men-centric gospel that pretends to empower women, and women flock to these meetings because, of course, some of the things, the desires that have been forged under patriarchy, under capitalism, are addressed. How to make men want you more, how to keep a husband, how to be feminine. And you can't say these things are different because majority of the people who are heading this gospel are also believers in what we like to call the divine feminine gospel. So they believe in making yourself more feminine, and what else is more feminine than going back to the kitchen? After all, femininity is described through a white imperial lens, and so we cannot forget that. So there's nothing particularly new or inventive about what we're doing. So nothing is new, but there's definitely something that has tilled the soil to make this particular moment in time the perfect time to reintroduce this gospel. And that is, of course, the master-saving event, the mentally exhausting event that was the pandemic. A lot of people are exhausted by the pandemic. They don't know how to respond to it. They can see now that they value more things in life. They value having a work-life balance. They're not really fulfilled working in paid work, and they miss their families that they haven't been able to see. Some women want to start families, and so there's a lot of panic around that. Second thing is people are delusional about domestic work. So especially in this day and age, because the second wave feminism was so far away and we're now Gen Zers, Gen Alpha, we don't really know that we're in the fourth wave of feminism, going maybe into the fifth. And so we're two waves away, two waves removed from the women we fought to get us into paid work. And so there's a lot of delusion about paid work. It's like, oh, I can do this, it's easy. Whilst my husband goes to work, I can do a little bit of cleaning, a little bit of that, because a lot of people don't actually do work. So you will not find anybody who's serious, who's aware of what domestic work looks like and the reality of it, championing for this. I myself know what it's about, and so I can definitely say you don't want to be out there. You don't want to be inside. You just don't want to be inside, okay? And tied into the idea of femininity is bi-essentialism. Like I said, most of the people pushing forward this gospel are bi-essentialists who believe in feminine energy and going into your feminine self in order to attract the kind of high value masculine men. How do you say these words? You don't need to be able to speak them, but you know what I mean. And so there's a lot of bi-essentialist turfism playing into this. Women are trying to reclaim their position. Cis heterosexual women are trying to reclaim their position as the rightful women, to distinguish themselves from those who are kept out of the lifestyle. As we know, according to traditional femininity or womanhood, those who will be awarded are the most feminine, and those are domesticated women. So domesticating women is definitely part of the Christo-fascist agenda, and it is a symptom of turfism, that is trans-exclusionary radical feminism. So yeah, here we have it. People are disguising this gospel as something revolutionary, something that can rescue us, when it's actually doing the opposite. So we have to go back to our roots, to the basic, and ground ourselves in reality. What do the second wavers know that the fourth wavers have forgotten, or the kind of women who push this have forgotten? I've made a list. First things first, second wavers knew that under capitalism, only paid work is awarded, is respected, and counted. So if you're a woman who stays at home, you're not going to be working. No one is going to see your exhaustion as valid. And we know this to be true even if we're not married, even if we've not lived through these circumstances, because everybody says, everybody asks, who brings the bacon home? If you're not bringing the bacon at home, you don't get any parts. Your labor doesn't count. You're not bringing in the bacon. Now, we can deconstruct and dismantle capitalism another time, but we're talking about reality now. I'm one of those to be idealist and philosophical and talk about how capitalism shouldn't exist, but now this is about reality. You don't bring home the bacon, you don't work, you're lazy. You stay at home and you need to respect your husband. So they knew that. Secondly, they knew that it was important to have women in economic participation. It's important that not only the most privileged have access to resources, and so economic participation is extremely important. Or what our enlightened women are not telling us is that economic participation is important, and you cannot opt out of it and get high on the fumes of your money is my money, because there's no such a thing. What we're basically doing is surrendering our power to those who already have more power than us. Men have more power than us, and of course there's a lot to unpack when it comes to that in itself. It's not just a complete statement, but men have more economic power, more social mobility. And so what we're saying is those who get to go out into society, mingle with society, and get society's resources are those who already have the most power. There's nothing revolutionary about that. And then, of course, tying into that, you cannot say, no, we're participating because I'm helping him make money. Of course, the studies have shown that men who are married make more money. And of course, there's definitely an increase in your income if you are a married man versus a single man. You're awarded for it, you're considered more serious. But what they don't tell you is that not only does big bank take little bank, is that your money is not our money. The one who works owns the money, the resources, everything belongs to you. And so you find out that throughout many years, feminists have fought for all of us to have our resources, for all of us to have economic participation on property. In Africa, one of the largest conversations that you find people having is in the feminist realm is the issue of inheritance, women owning land, women owning property. Because for a long time, women were disinherited. After you've stayed at home, been outcast from economic participation, someone could just come and pick up your property, take it with them because it belongs to your husband's family. And so if you have a family full of women, they take nothing with them. They're bound to a lifetime of poverty, because if it's not yours, it's not yours. You didn't work for it, you don't get it. What you get is to perhaps get rent. As long as you're in good books with somebody, then you get rent and whatever. And actually, I didn't have this as a point, but second wave is definitely knew the vulnerability attached to being under someone's financial supervision, financial control. As much as you like it, after you've lied to each other, after you've said, no, I'll stay at home, I'm fulfilled by it, you are not going to be any free. You don't have any mobility. You can't just wake up and say, actually, I want to move today. I'm unsafe. I can do this. And it's not to say women who work have the same privilege or whatever, that finances are not interlinked and that's difficult. It's just acknowledging that they're in a far better place. At least they know people from outside. You're isolated, you're vulnerable, you have no economic mobility, and you have no financial mobility because you're not liquid. So yeah, now that I've burst your bubble. So that's basically it. This is what second wave is new, and we understand why the ground is kind of ready for this kind of destructive gospel to go on, even if it's not revolutionary in any kind. But we need to also be people who find solutions, and I need you to add some of your solutions in the comment section as well, and maybe start a dialogue. Here are the solutions that I've put down that I think are really important and that could be extremely helpful for us. First things first, I'm going to look down at my notes. I think we should demolish capitalism. This is the end goal. To have capitalism not exist would be absolutely amazing. That would be perfect. The second thing is fair distribution of household labor. You cannot say women don't want to go back because they themselves are tired. Women are working in paid work, but men are not pulling up domestic work. In fact, in modern day society, we expect both people to work for the home to actually stand. We're no longer living in the previous times where one income could work, and I think that would also be one of the things second wave is new. We don't exist in that kind of society. It's important, and in fact, most things are made so people can work. The second thing is fair distribution of household labor. Now, we know a lot of women are exhausted, and this is why it's so easy to just latch onto this gospel of being kept women. You're not actually kept. What you're describing is a symptom of something. Women are exhausted, they're working twice as much, and I'll attach a study that also references this. Oh my god, I have to remember when editing. But women are tired. You come back from work and you still have to do domestic work. Men are not participating in household labor and women are exhausted. So it's almost like you have two jobs. This is a problem that needs to be fixed. People can do more. People can lift their weight a little bit more in terms of housework. And that would actually be assisted by more work-life balance. 4-day work weeks, less working hours, less doing things for profit, actually pushing people to have a good quality of life, which includes not working so much. I think that's important that we mention. So helping each other at home and also having a good work-life balance. Fourth thing, I think, paternity leave. I know in Germany there's paternity leave. A lot of countries find this to be ridiculous, but this only works when the last 2 points are respected. You can't be doing paternity leave so you watch soccer. I'm talking paternity leave with the intention and actually actively parenting and doing household work. Not this thing where you get to rest and it's a vacation and you're lying and sleeping at home. That doesn't work, that doesn't go, that won't fly. So I'm talking realistically, so I'm talking functionally. Like, we need to actually consider men as active participants in the raising of children, domestic work, and all of that. One of the biggest thing, higher wages. People need higher wages because this improves their quality of life, so they don't spend time thinking it's better to regress, so at least maybe we'll get some rest when the man is working and I can sleep and you can come and rest when no, or things are so poor that everything is being done, you can't outsource anything. And of course there's a greater conversation to have when it comes to outsourcing labor. I'm talking about you guys who outsource your work and the failures of your husbands to poor women. You're definitely not the ones I'm talking about, but people can do more, so our society could function in a way that actually allows us to have more, to not have to commute from the ends into our workplaces, to maybe have more dignity, have more time to rest instead of having 4 or 5 jobs. Higher wages are definitely part of the solution for both men and women. Most of my suggestions are in general, like just generalized suggestions. And I think this is a big one, childcare assistance, because there's no way you can convince somebody who's burdened by childcare, who has such amazing exponential costs that they can go to work with the workplace where the wages don't cover anything. They can't pay for childcare. They're not supported. They're working at home, fixing a plate for their husband, still having to carry a baby on their back, take care of them. They're overwhelmed. It's not going to work. We need more social assistance, and we need people-driven society instead of profit-driven societies. So anyway, that's all I have to say when it comes to this topic. I hope this mic didn't let me down for the 3rd time in a row. And yeah, that's basically it. So I hope you enjoyed it, and I really want us to continue this dialogue. I'm freezing cold, so of course a lot of things that I say are going to be a bit crazy, but yeah, I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.